Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday, February 4th, 2022. I don't know how it got to be February 4th. I don't remember February 3rd. Apparently, that was yesterday. I really think we just had February 2nd twice. I mean, it's like a bad Groundhog Day joke, but I really don't remember February 3rd. But here we are, February 4th. We made it to the end of the week, guys. It was a long week for me. I just feel like I've been rushing. The kids' activities are back in full swing. We had a travel day on Monday, and so I'm exhausted. But we made it. We crossed the finish line. Good job, everybody. Everyone listening on the podcast. Hope you guys are having a good run out there today. Today, I had a workout today. I felt really groggy during the workout, and it was one of those workouts where it wasn't that windy, but I still tried to plan my workout so that way I would have a tailwind. But it didn't matter which way I was running, and it was a long enough workout that I had to run in the headwind no matter what. But it felt like I had a headwind in both directions. It was just one of those days, but I made it through it. And hopefully, if you're out there listening to this on your run, I hope you get a tailwind both ways. And everyone watching on YouTube after the fact, hanging out. Hopefully it's an evening for you now, or maybe it's early Saturday before your run. Hopefully you got a nice cup of coffee if it's the morning, or a recovery drink if it's the evening. Or if you're like me, you got coffee for both of those situations. And I am definitely enjoying my coffee today. All right, let's see who we got in the chat today. We got Rendon Lewis says, happy Friday, everyone. He said, what's the best Tracksmith shorts? I think the best Tracksmith shorts are the lined half tights. And the word lined, sorry, my hair's all messy. I just got back in from the run and I didn't take a shower yet. My hair's doing all sorts of weird things. Where is this? Does this want to go over here? Does it want to go over here? I don't know what it wants to do. It just wants to be puffy. Anyway, it's just going to stick up like that all day today, I think. What's going on with that? That's so weird. All right. I think the best Tracksmith shorts are the half tights. But you know what? I don't think I've ever tried their split short. So maybe I'm not qualified to say. But I've had the half shorts. I like the ones that are lined. And by lined, it means it has a liner, not lined like it's super thick. That's what I think of whenever someone says the lined Tracksmith tights or the half tights. I think that means that's like a fleece on the inside. It's not. It's just that it has a liner, like a brief on the inside. And I feel like that's perfect because then the tights don't get too hot if you have underwear and tights on. So those are the best ones, in my opinion. All right. Frank says, I have a tile on my keychain, but the battery died and I haven't ever replaced it. Yeah, the thumbnail for today, my keys. The battery died on this tile as well. So it's just for the look, I guess. I got to replace the battery. But you know what? I think they've since changed the tiles that they don't have replaceable or something like that, right? For some of them anyway. I don't know. I was back when I had to work, I was just constantly losing stuff. And so I put a tile tracker on everything. There's a tile tracker on our Apple TV remote. Although I think it fell off and the battery died anyway. So now when we don't have, and we used to put it on our regular remote too. I don't know. Pretty soon everything's just going to be listening to you and you could just be like, hey, where are you? And it'll be it'll chirp. But until then, I need to put tile trackers on more stuff. But I mean, then I also have to make sure I keep replacing the batteries. Andrew Johnson is here. Good to see you again. Says hi, everyone. Luis Becerra says, yo, what's going on? JC says, hello and happy Friday. Here comes the sun. The ice is slowly melting. Nice. That's good. The kids here are very excited whenever the ice melts or the snow melts because then there's icicles. And that's one of their favorite things to do is find icicles in the neighborhood. And then they just like to walk around with these ice shivs throughout the neighborhood. I don't know. It's something that they're fascinated with. They love it. I mean, they don't fight with them or anything. They just like to walk around, and then after a while, they get bored of it, and they smash it on the ground. So they like melting snow and ice, because then it means icicle time. Stevie76 says, yo, what's going on? And Terry says, evening all. Good to see everybody. Martha gives a little wave emoji. I love that one. Good to see you, Martha. Sean says, yo, what's going on? Ice storm in Massachusetts forced a much appreciated rest day and a much needed yoga. That sounds nice. I could go for that. Right now, my hips are feeling I guess it's my glutes. It feels like it's my hips, but I think it's my glutes. My glutes are very tight. I think it's probably still from the race last weekend and then getting into the workout for today. And then also traveling and stuff, being like cramped into airplanes and all the driving that I've been doing. So like my butt is all sorts of weird. Just, I don't know if it's tired or sore or activated or not activated. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know. I think maybe some yoga is in order for me. Jeff Elliott says, I really enjoyed the Strength Running podcast you linked on Instagram. Yeah, that was the podcast of the day yesterday. I did it twice now. Well, I've been doing the podcast of the day in Instagram for a while. I put it on the Strava, the Kofuzi Run Club. I post there too for those of you who aren't on Instagram. And that was the second day I did that. I thought that was a good one. And I mean, it's a thing that I keep thinking about, the strength training, and they talked about that quite a bit on that. But I really resonated with that podcast because, I mean, it was one of those where like the coach does a coaching call, and I feel like it's good because it's good like marketing for the person's coaching business, but also then you get to be like, get a sense of like, what are the results that some of the people are getting under this coach. And this guy, I think, is a year older than me, and he lives in Chicago. And he started running later in life, which I didn't start later in life, but I kind of picked running back up later in life. And I mean, he's much more talented than I am. His first marathon, he ran at a 1:30, and I'm like, my first marathon was a 2:05. So, or first half marathon, I mean. And then from there, he kept progressing. He picked up Jason Fitzgerald as a coach when he was a 2:50 marathoner, and now he's a 2:37 marathoner. Incredible. And he thinks he's going to get faster, and he's 44. It's amazing. So like, I'm like, strength training, you say, So, and then today I was listening to the Mario Fraioli's podcast. He had one of the AMA episodes, and he ended up like talking about strength training for a long time during this AMA episode. So I'm just like, all right, I'm getting the signal. I got to be more serious. So, so there's that. And Jeff says, I'm way behind the podcast, but Tommy Runs interviewed Monty Huddle a little over a month ago, and it was great. Yeah, I listened to that one. I never finished that one, though. That was a good one. I got to finish it. Runner Dre says, woohoo, Friday. I can't chat today, but wanted to listen in while I work. Have a good weekend, everyone. Well, thanks, Runner. All right. Angel Johnson says, I was so happy to see the video today. He has socks from Leak Dry and loves them. So, yeah, there we go. Yeah, they just emailed me out of the blue, and I was like, I don't want to do waterproof socks. I don't like waterproof socks because I have multiple pair from that Showers Pass company, and I don't know why, but it just never occurred to me like maybe they're not all like this. And the Leak Dry ones I really like. I might pick up another pair, some really tall ones. Although I wonder if those are going to be too hot. But I'm probably going to pick up another pair because having one pair, I did wear them 2 days in a row and they seemed fine. But I think I'm probably going to need one more to get me through the winter. I was having a conversation today with one of the other parents. We were walking up to school today, and a lot of times, it's a neighborhood school. So everyone it's a city school. So like people don't really get bused to school. So everyone that comes to school either gets driven there by their parents or we all walk their kids to school. And so I was walking up with some other parents, and he's like, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing good. I don't want to jinx it, but I do feel like the worst of winter is behind us. And he's like, you think? And I know he's from Kentucky. So I'm like, I mean, he's been lived in Chicago for a while, but I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's February, so we're still going to get a lot of snow, and it's still going to be cold. But I think that real mean coldness, I think we're past the worst of it. We might get another blast chill here and there, but we're past the worst of it. And he's like, I like your optimism. But I do think that this is like my more enjoyable part of winter, where the temperatures are up just a little bit. We're not at like 0 degrees anymore. And it also means we're getting a lot more snow. So more time for some waterproof socks. I'm a convert. I'm loving them. Brendan says, hello. We're getting hammered with a freezing rainstorm here in California. Hope you're having a good start to the weekend, assuming it has started. I mean, I still got to pick up the kids. And I mean, now that I'm a trophy husband, it's kind of always my weekend. I just do different things during the day, I guess. But yeah. But for everyone else, I hope everyone else is having a good weekend, I think. Man, freezing rain. Why is it freezing rain up there? I would not anticipate that you guys would be getting freezing rain. Or is it because is it like the Atlantic currents or something that keeps you guys warmer? I'm not sure. Ocean currents always mess with me in terms of figuring out how cold is a place. But hopefully it's not that bad of an ice storm. Ken Pfaff says, hello from rainy, icy New York. Oof. I didn't know you guys were supposed to get ice. Oh, but I guess that's part of that continuing storm that's hitting Texas all the way up. I should check on my mom. My mom told me the other day, she's like, I'm not going to go to the live streams anymore. And I'm like, well, it's okay. Why not? She goes, it doesn't show up on my YouTube anymore, so I don't know how to find it. And I'm like, Mom, I've sent you the link to the channel many times. So I don't know. I think she's given up on the live streams. But I need to check in on her. Make sure they're doing okay. I mean, they live in a high rise, so they're fine. Everything's taken care of for them. So Frank says, word on Tokyo. Yeah, I was going to mention it yesterday, and then we ended up on a weird vertigo. Not tangent, someone asked, but so bad news on Tokyo. So Tokyo, we're not going anymore. The race is still happening, as far as I understand, but they're not. ASICS isn't going to be taking the North America. Well, I don't think they're taking the North America team. I haven't heard from Thomas yet. So the group that was going to go was me, I think Thomas, I think Brandon was going too from Believe in the Run, and Megan. I think there were that 3, maybe 4 people that were. I don't think Robbie was on the. I can't remember who was on the list. And then Ashley Mateo, who was recently interviewed on the Drop podcast. She was one of my podcast recommendations of the day before I started putting them on Strava. She was supposed to go too. So it was like a lot of us from like the Falmouth group were going to go. And then 2 other journalists, I don't know them. One writes for Men's Health, Men's Journal, or GQ. Maybe one wrote for GQ and something like that. So like 2 magazine guys. I guess Ashley is a magazine person as well. So, but yeah, so they're journalists. And then I think one other person that I didn't know who they were. And so we're not going anymore. I got an email from my contact over at ASICS, and he was like, we're not gonna be able to do it. We are going to keep a bib for you for 2023. So, or we're looking forward to that. So it's not like it's not going to happen, but we're not going to be able to do it this year. The reason being, Tokyo recently extended their, like, I think they call them like quasi states of emergency. And so what that, among the many things it means, is that international travelers were going to be required to do a 7-day hotel quarantine. And I'd already talked to them, and they already mentioned to me like a long time ago, back when we began like these discussions, it was like, if they make you do a 3-day hotel quarantine, we can go. But if it's longer than that, it's just going to get really complicated. And then, so they probably won't be able to do it. And so like, that was going to be the main way they decided. And then I think that also meant that like, we probably weren't going to be able to do a lot of traveling. It would have made a lot of other logistics very, very difficult. And so like, we would have been going to Tokyo, but then we wouldn't be able to do a lot of other like fun Tokyo stuff or ASICS stuff, so not this year. So now I don't have a race. So today's workout was really hard to do because I was like, I don't even have a race anymore. So what am I doing out here? But I did want to make a video about the Boston 10. So I was like, that's why I got to do the workout. So like whatever you got to do to motivate yourself, So we got to figure something out. But yeah, but there'll be a lot of other ASIC stuff and a lot of other adventures this year. So, I'm okay on it. Big stuff coming. We're still working on some details, but there'll be some other stuff. Schmoopy Doop. Look at this. Schmoopy Doop is the name, and look at this picture. Is that like a real cat or is that a cartoon cat? Anyway, it's super cute. It says, new to the channel. I don't run, but I enjoy the way you talk. It's good background noise. You know what? I used to teach, and I used to teach at a law school, and my students would tell me the same thing. Uh, I think it was a very nice way of saying, "I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to your question. I zoned out." So it is good background noise. I've heard I'm also really good at helping people fall asleep. So there you go. Welcome, welcome. You stick around long enough, you're gonna probably end up starting to run. So or buying running shoes, one of the two. But welcome, Shmoopy Doop. Martha wants to know, what did Phil the groundhog say about winter? Oh, we got 6 more weeks. That's what Phil says. It doesn't make sense to me. If he sees the shadow, he goes back in the thing, and that means 6 more weeks of winter, right? But that means that it was a sunny day. So that means sunny days mean more winter. Doesn't make sense. So, but I guess it means like if it was a cloudy day, he wouldn't see a shadow, but also it means it was temperate enough for him to come out. But then it just means like, but then why this whole business about the shadow? You know, makes it seem like it's sun oriented, but really it's more temperature. I don't know. I've never really understood Groundhog Day. Makes very little sense. All right, we got a lot of weather reports coming here. All right, Brendan says that Halifax, or California as he called it. I've never heard anyone call it California. I kind of like that. He says, yes, exactly. The East Coast is a bit more mild compared to central Canada. See, that's what I think. It's ocean currents. Ocean currents always make the big difference. And Jeff says the storm is getting them in North Carolina, but it's weirdly rainy. And Cheryl Gayhart says, lots of rain here in the Southeast. Ran and stepped in a puddle for you. There you go. Awesome. I appreciate that. No puddles out here. I mean, there's some, but the puddles are super gross because you know what it is it is snow and ice melt, like the salt. So it's just like if you get it on your shoe, stains your shoe and then makes the laces crusty afterwards because it's basically all salt. It's like a slurry. Eric Hill says, I did miss your announcement that the live stream moved to a new channel. I only saw the video where you said that you might move it. So a reminder on the other channel may be in order. I do a post every day right before the live stream about like as soon as I schedule this one, which is usually around 12, like an hour ahead of time. I also do a community post, like one of those posts. So I don't know how else to do. Like, should I make another video, like a video about it? But I do mention at the end of videos that I moved the live stream to another channel. So, I mean, I just think it'll take time for everyone to get over there. Because I know not everyone watches every video. There are a lot. And a lot of times people don't make it all the way to the end. So maybe I'll put it at the front of a video coming up. Just be like, hey, just a quick reminder. I think that's a good idea. Thanks, Eric. All right. JC says the New York City Marathon officially announced March registration. Ooh, all right. Well, maybe what I should do is I should find a half marathon and try to get under that 125 so I can or whatever it is required good for age. So maybe I can get a guaranteed entry into New York. Oh, that puts a lot of pressure, especially if I travel for like a half marathon. Interesting. Maybe I'll have to try that. We'll have to see. Martha says, too bad about Tokyo, but since you have a bib next year, better to have more normal and enjoyable experience. Kofuzi. I think so too, because I don't know. I feel like we're going to have like a mega mukbang while we're over there. I'm just going to I'm fascinated by the vending machines. So I'm going to have a vending machine mukbang. I have so many ideas. And then I want to have a takoyaki, like a street food mukbang as well. There's just going to be so many opportunities to eat stuff. Yeah. And then I know there's going to be a lot of stuff that tastes like flowers because there's a lot of like stuff like that in Korean food too. And I'm just going to be very surprised and off put by it, but it'll be fun. And then I think then at that point, if we can do it next year, then I think that we'll be able to check out like ASIC's headquarters and like their research facilities and stuff. So I'm going to try to convince them to put the dots on me and like run me through like the biomechanics lab and stuff like that. So I'm going to see if I can make that happen. So I've got lots of ideas. Sean Devlin says, bummer on Tokyo. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I kind of had a feeling that would go this way. I got optimistic just because Omicron passed through really quickly through Chicago and it passed through New York really quickly too. And from what I remember reading, I don't know if maybe I just imagined this or maybe it was wishful thinking. I thought I had read somewhere that that Japan at first wasn't a highly vaccinated country, but once they had more access, it became a very highly vaccinated country, even more so percentage-wise than the US. So I was thinking, all right, well, maybe that bodes well. But if they're still in like not lockdowns, but travel restrictions, then that makes sense. It makes sense. Terry says Japan is on the top of the bucket listed for places to go. Yeah. It's just, it's literally on the other side of the planet for me, and I just don't have like a. It's not. I don't know how to plan trips like that. Like it's not in my like aptitude or skill set, So I'm like, I just don't. It wouldn't occur to me to like plan a Japan trip, So like this kind of thing is like this is the only way that I'll really experience it. Luis says you can always come to the San Diego Half Marathon at the end of March. Kofuzi, worth a try. Oh yeah, I do like San Diego. I haven't been in a while. And is it flat? I just want a flat fast course. I don't want any more intercoastal bridges. I've had enough of that. I was thinking about at the end of this month. It's like in 2 weeks. What's today? The 4th, so it's like the 26th. Or maybe it's the 25th. I don't know what 26 sounds right. Is the USATF 5K championships. And I was like, the Masters 5K championships. And I was like, oh, maybe I should do that. Because I feel like I've got some decent fitness. I don't need to go run. I don't want to necessarily go run a marathon right now because I haven't done like I still haven't done like the peak part of the build, but I'm like feeling really strong. I had a good race last week. So I'm like, things are in the right direction. And it would feel weird to just shut it down, So I was thinking about, well, maybe I'll do that one. But it's in Atlanta. And it's such a hilly city. So I'm just like, I don't want to try to race a 5K in a hilly course. So yeah, I'm not the most competitive person. I don't have that competitive fire, like that desire to go out and like, I want to show that I can beat people on a hilly course. No, not that I don't think I would anyway. Because if it's in Atlanta, that means that probably the Atlanta Track Club is going to have a big showing, as well as some of the other run crews in the area. Atlanta is a running city, and I feel like there'll be a lot. And plus there'll be all the people that are traveling to run the race too. It's the same weekend as the Publix Marathon in Atlanta. So, I think that there'll be a lot of people in town. So could be a lot of competition anyway. Carlos Griego says, new channel idea, bedtime stories read by Kofuzi. Can you imagine if I got a gig on the Calm app? Because is that the app where like Matthew McConaughey reads stories and other people like celebrities will read stories to you? I think that I don't know if he's on the app or whatever. He probably isn't, because why would he? But I think if there were a celebrity that I could have read me bedtime stories, of course Morgan Freeman is one. That's like the obvious choice. But I would really want to have Tom Hanks. I think Tom Hanks would be like really relaxing to listen to him tell me bedtime stories. I could deal with that. That'd be a good one. Link 130 boy says, sorry about Tokyo. The Austin Marathon is 2:20 if you want to get a race in. See, that might be too soon for me. And isn't that one hilly too? I'm not interested in a hilly race. Maybe it isn't hilly. I don't remember. I think Austin is a hilly city. So I don't know. Yeah, Martha says, great idea, Mike, to smash a half marathon for New York. All right. Well, I'm going to have to go check. Thanks, JC, for bringing it up. I'm going to have to check in on when the window is to see if there's enough time for me to hop into a half marathon that I can do. Stevie76 said I need to do a mukbang in a Shinkansen. That would be amazing. And I do think that like the ASICS thing, their headquarters is a bullet train right away. So like they'll knock off like 2 things. But then I feel like then I wouldn't be able to enjoy it. Plus, I don't know. I feel like they're like I need to like well, I guess I have time now, but I got to really figure out like some of the cultural norms. I don't want to be like the crazy American that goes over there. Like filming a mukbang on a bullet train, which is like a public space. I think people are getting pissed off. I think I'm making people mad. So we'll have to see. Terry says, Japan shakeout run. I think I have an opening in my diary. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's like I would love to, I mean, if we were able to go this year, I don't think that would happen. But if we're doing next year, I think that can happen. So, yeah. All right, Luis says the San Diego half marathon is very flat, just 2 or 3 little bridges. Wow, that's what people said. That's what people said about the Clearwater race too. Not that they were gigantic, but they weren't little, you know. Martha says San Diego is not generally flat at all, unless it's something like Coronado or oceanfront like Carlsbad. Otherwise, very hilly. And end of March won't come in time for New York registration. All right, so I got to figure that out. I'll figure that out after we get off the live stream here today, guys. And Dwayne Scott says Atlanta is home of the hills. Trust me. I know. I remember when. I mean, I haven't spent much time in Atlanta, but when I was there for the marathon trials, just trying to keep up with the runners, and I was basically cutting across the looped course, and I was like, this is so hilly. And I did go for a run while I was in town too. But yeah, it's a hilly place. It's a really hilly place. I'm in, and I looked at the course, and it stays near the Olympic Park, which is kind of like where the marathon trials started and ended as well. And so, like, I'm familiar, like I remember offhand some of the course, but I'm looking at the elevation profile and I'm like, this is hilly at 5K pace. This is really rough. So, and Frank's been looking at the course profile for San Diego. He says it looks tough. Goes up by Balboa Park and through Hillcrest. Oh, I mean, San Diego has a lot of running history. That Balboa Park, a lot of great runners have run through there. And JC says that Austin is definitely hilly for their marathon course. David Phillips says Cowtown is 227. Come join us. All right. I don't have to look at some of these. And he says there's only one big hill. I like the sound of that. Ted Norrie says, in the UK kids program, Jack and Nori has well-known actors reading stories. Oh, that's nice. You know what that reminds me of? The other day, the baby started watching Thomas the Train for no reason. I don't know why. I think it was because, I know why. We actually looked at Prime Video, like Amazon Prime Video, because Hotel Transylvania 4, it was like, I think it was direct to streaming, was on there. And then while we were in the app, she was like, let's watch that. And we're watching Thomas the Train. And like, Thomas the Train, I don't know if you guys, you guys probably all knew this, but in case you guys didn't, Thomas the Train has had different narrators over the years. I don't know who I like more as the narrator, Pierce Brosnan or George Carlin. That makes no sense. Pierce Brosnan makes sense. George Carlin was a narrator. I don't know for how long, but for a while. It wasn't just a single episode. The comedian, the words you can't say on television, that guy, he was a narrator for Thomas the Train. How that, like, does anyone know the story behind that? I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. Brian Tambourine says, how about the Los Angeles Marathon on March 20? I've been thinking about that. But now that like there's this New York Marathon opportunity, I'd like to try and go for a 125 half marathon. Now, here's the thing. I haven't been doing half marathon training. But I think I'm in pretty I think I could do a 125. I feel confident. It's 3 minutes faster. That's a lot than what I ran last week. But can I put together a 125? And that would be a minute and 11 seconds faster than my current PR. Can I put that together in like 3 weeks? Am I ready for that? I don't know. I'm glad I did a workout today. I'll do a long run on the weekend. Melvin Umang wants to know, what's going on, Melvin? He says, thoughts on the Triumph 18s and or the Kinvara 11s? I've seen these on sale in my flipper size 14, so just wondering if they're worth picking up. I like the Triumph 18. It's a little bit puffier. There's a lot of stuff on the upper that I made it not like it as much as the 19. But I think the midsole is the same as in the 19. So if they're on sale, it could be a good pickup. The Kinvara 11 is, I think, a different kind of Kinvara. I think for like 1 year they were like, let's make this a daily trainer, like that, a regular daily trainer and not a speed shoe. And then I think for the 12 they went back to like regular types of Kinvaras. So that one is a little bit different. I really like that one. I really like that Kinvara, but I like it as like a daily trainer. So I like both of those shoes. I'm trying to think which one I like more. I think I like the Kinvara 11 more like that than I like the Triumph 18. Cheryl Gayhart said that there's the Gasparilla half in Tampa. Yeah, we were talking about that. I was just talking about that with Mark and Julian Gomez. I think he's running the half or the full. Is there a full or is it just a half? I don't remember. I think he's running that race as well. 2 people that I ran with in Clearwater. And so they were like mentioning that that's coming up, and I was like, oh, a flat and fast half marathon, you say, huh? So I was like, okay. So that might be one. I'm not sure if I'm ready to go back to Florida again so quickly, but we'll have to see. Maybe, because then that would probably give me a half marathon time in time for the registration window for New York. So I'll have to see if I can get into that. Here's the thing. I'm not good at moving quickly with these kinds of things. So I got to make some decisions, I guess. Kurt Owen says, I was just looking at the tunnel marathon in the Seattle area. It seems like it's all downhill. It is all downhill. That's why it's awesome. Like the first mile and a half or not, because you're going through the tunnel of the tunnel marathon. And then I think like there's a mile at like mile 21 that's flat. You're going through like a parking lot. And then like the last half mile, I think is flat. Other than that, it's down. It's 2,000 feet of downhill. It's amazing. It's such a fun course. It's a really good one. Frank said the Mesa half is fast, net down, but already February 12th. Yeah, that'll be, well, I guess that's next week. I'm guessing it's probably already sold out, and I don't know if I want to. Can I run another half marathon in another week? So 2 weeks away seems fast. But if it's a net downhill, that's a really downhill one, right? Isn't it? I feel like there's a marathon too. That one is even more downhill than the tunnel marathon, I think. Terry says Thomas the Tank had Ringo Starr in the UK. It did? That would be weird. I don't think I've ever seen those. Ted says Ringo was the original narrator. Really? We just watched the original. Like I think we watched like season 1. It was when it was creepy and it wasn't computer animated and it was like the dolls, and sometimes just the eyes would move. Man, that show like really freaks me out. Like the way that like the models work on that one, it's so creepy. I'll have to go back and look at that. Martha says that Seth is running Gasparilla. Yeah, I heard about that. Julian was telling me about that. So that would be a lot of fun to be able to link up. So I think he's going, from what I think Julian was telling me, that Seth is going for 65. So I'll be way behind him, even on my best day. Carlos Griego says, sitting out with pain between Achilles and calf right now. Try not to blame the treadmill, but still registering for the fall marathon here in Albuquerque. That's got some altitude to it, doesn't it? I think Albuquerque's at altitude of a city, right? I'm not sure. All right. Martha says the Revel downhills. That's that Mesa one. That's the Revel series. The downhills are brutal by comparison to tunnel and mountain to beach. Yeah, I think it was like the Mesa marathon was like 3,000 feet of downhill. That's a lot. 2,000 feet didn't seem like a lot. It seemed like a fun amount of downhill over the course of 26 miles, or really like 24 miles. 3,000. I feel like you're braking at that point. 2,000 feet over the distance felt like I could just go and I didn't have to slow down for it. MJ Nelson says, I have a marathon in 9 weeks. I haven't started training because of physical therapy. Is it too soon to try? I think that it depends on a lot of your fitness going in, what the physical therapy was for, and what your expectations are for the race. My biggest concern, I think someone had a similar concern with that yesterday. My biggest concern is that trying to go from PT to marathon could set you back in the long run and re-aggravate what you just had to fix in physical therapy, and then also cause you to have to not have a good race, potentially DNF, and then not only be injured but injured worse. So that'll be my biggest concern. But if you're going out to run and enjoy it with some friends, I think it's fine. 9 weeks isn't a terrible number. If you had a good amount of fitness going into it, then you could probably still salvage it and have a good fun race. But I think that it really depends on how strong you are coming out of physical therapy. And talk to your physical therapist about it. So that's the main thing that I would say. Frank says Albuquerque is definitely at altitude. Carl says it's a mile high, same as Denver. See, people don't say that. You don't realize that. I think that I didn't realize that Salt Lake City is at altitude. People always talk about Denver being mile high city, so you get that. But Salt Lake City, I didn't realize that was at altitude. I didn't know that Flagstaff was at altitude. I didn't know that Albuquerque's at altitude. So I feel like, there's some places to go. It doesn't have to be all Boulder and Flagstaff. You can go and have a nice little run vacation, places with altitude that would also have good trails and probably good dirt roads. Or this is, I definitely don't recommend trying to get a PR at a mile high. Even living up at 7,900 feet, I haven't gotten any great times doing 5Ks in Denver compared to sea level. Ooh. See, I would love to be able to run the Boulder, but I'm that's going to be a painful race because I'm not used to altitude at all. One time I went on we went on a vacation with a couple of my friends and our wives. We all went. This was all before we had kids, and it was actually one of my friends that I ran Tunnel Marathon with. He lives out in Seattle now, but we went out to Park City in the summer for a long weekend in the summer. And the altitude affected me so much that I was just they're like, hey, Mike, you want a beer? I'm like, no. Do you want to sit in the hot tub? No. What do you want to do? I'm just going to sit on this couch for a little while. That was not fun. And then I did the Ragnar relay in the Tetons, and I think we were at 7,000 feet. And I didn't feel as bad that time. But I definitely felt the altitude very, very drastically. I did not get used to it the entire. I was there for 4 days. I did not get used to it at any point. Martha says the Boulder is also hilly. It is. That's this is a gauntlet. It's something to do just for fun. It's the third biggest race in the U.S. probably after New York and Chicago, even though it's a 10K. Everyone says it's a lot of fun. I mean, I've seen Ryan Van Duzer's like videos on it, and it just looks like an amazing race. And the elite field is pretty stacked always. And then Seth had a really great video about it as well. It looked amazing. Looks like a lot of fun. So it's one of those races that I want to try one day, and definitely would be just like we're just gonna go out here half marathon pace, even though it's a 10K. Just try and smile, have a good time. Recycle on Wednesday wants to know how high does something have to be to consider it at altitude? I don't know. For me, I think if a place is at like 5,000 feet, that's high. 3,000 feet isn't really considered at altitude, but I would definitely be able to feel that, I think. Cody Davis wants to know, what's my favorite cookie? This is Snickerdoodle by Surgery and chocolate chip. What? I think there's a typo in there. I like is that intentional typo? I've been playing around with intentional typos on the YouTube titles lately. My theory is that it increases engagement. My favorite cookie is oatmeal. My mother-in-law made a cookie while we were living at her house. It was oatmeal cookie with dried cranberries and white chocolate. Man, that is a good cookie. That was a good cookie. I missed that one. She never made it again after that. I think she was just like, we got these ingredients. Let's throw them together. Because she usually only has white chocolate, or I think she uses like almond bark. And she only has that usually around Christmas time. It must have been some like leftovers or whatever. She made those cookies. Those were really good. Yeah, Jeff says, I like a good oatmeal raisin. I'm the one guy. Yeah, what's funny is my father-in-law also really likes oatmeal raisin cookies, but he never gets them. And he's like, I like it when you're around. I'm like, oh, thanks, Julius. And he's like, because then I get oatmeal raisin cookies. And I was like, okay, great. I love you too. Yeah, so it's funny. He's like, yeah. He's like, my mother-in-law, he's like, she doesn't really cook when it was just me and her. But when you guys come around, then she actually cooks stuff. So I like to see you guys. So I'm like, great. Glad we could help. Martha says, I like almost any chewy cookie right out of the oven. That is nice. That is a nice feeling. Jonathan Crossley says, my 5-year-old is a big oatmeal raisin fan. I wish I could get my kids to eat oatmeal raisin cookies. Then I would actually feel like that I was getting them to eat something a little bit healthier. But they like the sugar. They like the sugar cookies. They also really like Oreos. I don't know why that's something. What's funny is over the holidays, I think we had I don't know if it was a Thanksgiving Oreo. It wasn't Oreo. It was like Simple something, Organics, Simple Truth, whatever. There's like an organic, somewhat semi-generic brand. And it was either, I think it was a peppermint Oreo. There was 2 Oreos that the baby didn't like. One was like a pumpkin pie Oreo. She didn't like that one. Or sandwich cookie, let's call it that. And then the other one was a peppermint sandwich cookie, peppermint Oreo over the holidays. And she hated that. And so that was in December, like early December. And it only stopped like maybe like last week. Every time I gave her a sandwich cookie, she'd be like, this isn't peppermint, is it? Because I don't like peppermint. So I'd be like, no, I haven't. We got rid of those. I know you don't like them. I won't buy them for you ever again. She's like, okay. The next time I give her a cookie, is this peppermint? Because I don't like peppermint. And so she was very adamant about it. It was very funny. I'm like, I promise, baby, it's not peppermint. It's just a regular Oreo. You're gonna like it. And she goes, because I don't like peppermint. I'm like, I know you don't like peppermint. And then we had a really long discussion how we don't like peppermint anything. Candy canes, candies, certainly not cookies. She and I share that trait. I only like it in like chewing gum or toothpaste. That's it. But I think because I like associate it so strongly with toothpaste, I don't like peppermint in anything. I don't like peppermint in a drink. I don't like it in a tea. I never tried that peppermint cookie. I don't think I would like it. So she must get it from me. It was pretty funny though. Jonathan Crossy says the 5-year-old doesn't like to drink any drink with sugar other than milk. He's a milk and water kid. Favorite breakfast is the 2 sunny side up eggs with a slice of toast so he can dunk the toast in the yolk. That's nice. That kid eats like I do. Yeah, I guess I have more drinks than water. I have coffee. And then like sport drinks. That's about it. Jonathan says I feel like he's my grandfather trapped in my son's body. That's awesome. That's kind of nice. Cody says if I eat Oreos, I drown them in milk. I don't like that. I've never been a fan of that. It seems messy. I don't like the cookie soggy. I'd rather eat the cookie and then drink the milk, rather than do the dunking. The dunking never appealed to me. I used to do that with like Chips Ahoy cookies. We used to have a lot of Chips Ahoy, the Chips Ahoy chocolate chip cookie. We used to have a lot of those in our house growing up. I don't think my mom ever baked cookies. It wasn't her thing. And but we had a lot of Chips Ahoy. And those I would dunk. But again, like it really irked me if a piece fell off into the milk. I just thought that was disgusting. Like there shouldn't be floaters in the milk. It just bothered it bothered me so much that I just never dunked the milk in the cookies in the milk, I don't know. I don't know what's that all about. I don't know how to unpack that, but yeah. Steven 26 says, have you tried the new Wookiee cookie? It's a bit chewy. Nice. I like that one. Martha says, I don't like mint in anything except toothpaste. And so mint leaves in Thai food is another exception. Mint I can deal with. I don't mind mint as much, but I also feel mint has a very strong toothpaste connection in my mind. Or like floss, The building has started using a new cleaner for like, so like when they mop the floor, they have to mop the floors every day because everyone coming in with all the snow and all the salt on their shoes. And usually they don't mop it every day, like in the summertime. It's pretty frequent, but not every day. Now it's every day. And they're using a new cleaner that has like lemongrass in it. And so every time I get into the elevator and it's just been mopped, I'm like, it smells like Thai food in here. I feel like someone's eating curry. And I'm like, I forgot. That's the new cleaner that they have. And then I got in the elevator with the baby and she smells the new lemongrass and she goes, what is that? She's like, I don't like that smell. I'm like, it's lemongrass. That's what it is. She's like, what's lemongrass? I'm like, it's what you're smelling. It's lemongrass. It's like an ingredient in food. I don't think she's ever had a curry before or Thai food. So she's not been exposed to that. So she doesn't know. She doesn't know how delicious it can be. But I don't know. I have a feeling now she's not going to like it because she'll get to associate it to the elevator cleaner. Martha says, how about dunking biscotti in coffee though? That's pretty good just because biscotti is so dry and like crusty otherwise, I feel like. But the dripping, I don't like the dripping. So I just end up eating the biscotti and then drinking the coffee. And frankly, I just don't get biscotti very much. I just avoid. I guess I just don't like dunking. I like dipping, like chips. That's good. Dunking. Like donuts in the coffee, I hate that. Because the donut crumbles and it gets in the coffee. And then you got like pudding at the bottom of your coffee. And I just don't like I don't know. I just I didn't realize we're unpacking or a very weird, strong preference against dunking things. I don't know. All right, Mr. Random said, how would you recommend getting back into running after a week off due to COVID? I don't know because I haven't had COVID. Knock on wood. But what I would do is I'd just take it easy. I mean, even if you have like a race coming up, I would take it slow to make sure you're getting into it. Start off with, a couple easy runs. I would say ease back into it as if you had just finished a marathon. So the first day, I would say maybe like try to get out there for 30 minutes. Don't worry about pace. Walk if you want to walk. Go out for 15 minutes, turn around and come back, kind of thing. Do that for a couple of days and then kind of like go from there and start seeing how you're feeling, start gradually increasing back up again. I would say that probably my transition would probably take at least a week, just to make sure, you're giving your body a chance to fully kick it. Kind of like, you know, this isn't like medical advice, but like, my thinking would be more along the lines of finishing your antibiotics. You want to make sure you really knocked out that bug. So, don't overtax the body too soon. Make sure your body has a chance to fully devote its resources to clearing your system rather than trying to catch up and do a workout. You're already down a week. Another week's not going to be completely detrimental to you. But if you're fully back after 2, that's really ultimately, not that bad. So that's kind of how I would approach it. So hopefully you have a very quick recovery. JC says, though, with the biscotti, save your teeth and dunk them. I guess maybe I'll try that again. I don't know. Cody Davis says nothing brings engagement like talking about food. It gets us. You got to know the audience, right? So this, and I guess the host. I could talk about food all day. Jay Manon says, I'm not a dunking fan either. I like to enjoy each treat separately. I'm with you. Martha says, Kofuzi, the one exception is dunking the feet in puddles. Yeah. I don't have to eat anything there, JC says, for the biscotti and the coffee, quick dunk is all you need. And the floater is just soft enough without being soggy. Do they intentionally make the biscotti that way with the idea that you're going to dunk it in the coffee? Is that why it's that way? Or was that an accident? Like, did it start out on accident and they were like, oh, this is good if you dunk it in the espresso? Does it work better with espresso than coffee? I bet you it does because there's more body to it. I'll have to do some experimenting. We'll see. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow's video, I'm going to talk about the Boston 10, how I think it's a misunderstood shoe. I still don't think it's, I think there's some major misfires on that one, but I don't think it's bad as everyone says. And I'm going to talk about that in tomorrow's video. And then no live stream because tomorrow will be Saturday. But I'll see you guys again in the live stream Monday, same time as usual, 1 p.m. And we're going to do a mukbang. I got a new product in that I've not had before. I don't think it's technically a food, but we'll do it on the Monday mukbang. Or maybe I'll save it for Thursday. I don't know. We'll decide. I'll figure something for us to have on Monday. Hopefully I'll see you then. Until then, though, have a great weekend. Have some good long runs over this weekend and be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.